I apologize, guys. I really don't know what's going on. Working. I'll try one last time. You can see my screen. So please, can you confirm you can see my screen once again? Can you just confirm that you can see my screen? You guys can't still see it? Come on now. Okay. Oh, these guys. Let's do this one last time. Oh, boy. What is happening? Can you hear me? So can you guys see my screen now? Oh boy, this is tearing me out. Can you guys see my screen? Just confirm with me, guys. Can you guys see my screen? What's going on now? Continue. Can you see my screen now? It should be showing from Zee Realty. So there's an account. My voice is speaking through that. There's another account that is showing my whatever. So is this still showing now? This is how I hold this thing every week. Okay. Ridiculous. Extremely exhausted. I don't think I need this at this point. What life happens. How about now? How about now? I'm hearing yes or no, yes or no. Okay. Very good. So that's the last confirmation. Tell me what you can see. Tell me what you can see. Okay. So now listen, I'll probably have a part 2 of this. When you are purchasing, okay, let me even ask. Let's do a recap. What did I say last week? Everybody, I think we're about almost 40 people here. I want you to tell me one thing you learned. I want to use that to key into this importantly for today. One thing you learned yesterday. Everybody, one statement. Quickly. We're really behind time. One statement you learned today, last class. Silver can last up to 99 years, right? As a tenure, but the current one is 45 years. So that time was just 20 years. Okay, great. While you guys are tapping, let me fire on. Now, the topic for today is the actual lands, actually lands, the things, the documents that you should look out for when you want to buy a land. Are you with me? Now, there are many ways you can own a land as a person, right? There are many ways. So, we learned about accession, how it is approved by the governor's office, careful observance. No visual again. Anyways, I hope you guys have mercy on me for this call. You know that matters beyond me. Please, we'll send the recording. I promise. So, are you seeing my screen now? I see my screen now. Okay. So I explained to you how that very important. There are many ways somebody can own a land. Number one is via inheritance. So this basically means my father gave the land, my grandfather gave the land to my father, gave the land to my elder brother, and I, or whatever. So it was passed down, right? A land can be a gift, right? So now I have an inheritance. Are you with me? Then I decide to gift you a land. I think this month or last, we had a winner of the land. So that's a gift. Are you following me? So it can be a gift. Now, the government, sorry, out of listen. The government can allocate. We're going to see this in our masterclass coming up soon. So the government says is, now, how many of you know the Dangote refinery? As at the time of this recording, the latest refinery by Dangote, right? Where is it currently located? Let me see if you guys can see. Where is it currently located? Right, it's located in Lagos. To be precise, it's located in Beijing. So actually, like I said, this is not. However, I was aware that refinery was. It was meant to be. I think it was Ogun State refinery was meant to be. Are you with me? The state government gave Dangote the land. Be allocated. So the Lagos state government can actually give all the power is vested in the state government, which is headed by the state. So allocated. So the government can give you a land. Are you with me? If you inherited a land, that means you don't have a receipt. If a land was a gift, can you hear me? If a land was a gift, you don't have a receipt. If the government allocated it to you, if you didn't pay for it, you don't have a receipt. But then, if you buy a land, that is, you purchase, let's say from a real estate company, or from a family or community, then you probably will have a receipt. Are you following what I'm saying? So imagine somebody who doesn't know this, and they told him, once you buy a land, you must have a receipt. Anybody who is the owner of the land must have bought it from somebody. Therefore, you must have a receipt. And this is a good land opportunity to buy, and he or she doesn't buy because there's no receipt. And the person is feeling like he caught a scam, not knowing that the person actually just didn't have knowledge. Is this making sense, guys? Is it making sense to you? So you want to ask yourself, for this, I'm going to have all of these classes. Like I said, we'll have a long time together, right? But I think generic basic overviews now. I'm sure some of you have gone to some YouTube. How many of you have done some further checking maybe on YouTube or wherever, and you found out something I'm saying to be true, right? Or you found probably some extra, right? So I'm starting with basic things for us to understand. So you have to ask yourself, when I buy a land, when I buy a property, what are the documents that I should have? Now, this actually will vary from place to place. Or, sorry, from occasion. That's why we said the most occasion to occasion. Are you following? We probably interface with. Are you with me? So bulk of you interface with both lands. So we're going to talk about bulk of you will make purchase for lands. So now, when you're buying lands, are you following me? There are many places you can buy land from. And usually, determines the kind of documentation you will come on. So usually at this stage, you usually encounter two things. You're either buying land from individuals or families. You're buying land from communities. That's maybe the traditional ruler, the ballers. Or you're buying from a real estate company. Are you following me? If you are following me, tap following. If you're following me, tap following. Come on. Companies. Now, many of you will not buy from here now. Because what happens is we'll buy from the communities. Now, when they buy from the communities, they will buy in acres, an acre is 6 plots, or hectares, volumes. The real estate company and form what we call an estate. Does that make sense? So what they'll do is they will now do what we call develop plots, what we call service plots. So they'll get the estate, they'll do a layout. Are you following me? Do gutters, do drainage, do a gate. How many of you live in estates? Right? And this is most likely where you people will buy from, or these people. You may not be reaching out to buyers for now and all of that. So let's start with the real estate companies. The first thing you want to, this is not a due diligence class, but once you have purchased your land, listen, before you purchase your land, listen to me carefully. Most real estate companies won't tell you about this because they know that most people don't know about it. How many of you have purchased or wanted to purchase and they gave you a document that has something like this? FAQs. How many of you have seen something like this? If you have seen that type FAQs, you have seen something like that type FAQs. Come on. FAQs. Frequently asked question. Can I build any type of something on this property? Right? So what if I default in my payments? Great. Now, what most people think is that the FAQs are all the conditions. Are you with me? But listen, before you buy, you want to ask them a simple question. Follow me carefully. Beyond the FAQs, there is actually a document, and this document can come in two forms. Number one, so what they do is they will put the basic things in the FAQs. For example, what happens if I default my payment? Are you with me? They put things like type of houses to build. Another document called a contract of sale, or call an offer letter. One of these two. So what exactly is the contract of sale? Let me even ask. What is a contract? It's a mutual agreement, basically, right? Between two or more parties, usually backed, signed and sealed, something like that. What most real estate companies will do, when you read their FAQs will always also have something like, we have a no. So now you read their FAQs, and then you what? You make payment. When you make payment, they will now full payment. They'll send you your initial set of documents, and one of these initial sets will be your contract of sales. So this is a trap, because you have, and their FAQ will say something like, proceeding to make payments agreement to the terms stated in the FAQ. Are you following me, guys? If you're following me, type following. You will now see the contract of sales. So now my question is, if you do not agree, they'll now say they cannot do a refund because they put it in their FAQ. Are you following me, guys? Just I'm showing you guys. So I already told you in the FAQ. So usually it does not seem to become a contract document again. It seems to just be a command document. Because for a contract, we are meant to look at it. We sign and then I pay. However, a lot of real estate companies use until after you pay. So, and if you don't know this, you will fall in. When you see the FAQ, ask, can I see my contract or of fact of sales? Now, some are genuine. Okay, now it doesn't necessarily mean the company is fake, honestly. Some will put all the terms and conditions in the FAQs. Does that make sense? The FAQ usually already has everything. For example, there are certain estates, we got an estate for a trans. And in that estate, says within 5 years, you must build on that land. If you do not build on that land, we have the right to take it and refund your money. But that was only the contract of sale. It was not in the FAQ. So imagine somebody who's in the university or who is in, maybe really young, 10 years, and said in 10 years, he has had that problem. So the first document when you're purchasing, you want to see is either your contract of sales or your offer letter. Offer letter. Tap back to me. Come on. You want to be sure you are. Usually, it's best because let me think you know English. It's best if you can now go through these things. That's legal booby traps. Are you with me? I'll give you an example. Let's see one together. Let's take one together and see if you. We call them legal booby traps. Now, the work of these traps is to hide something that document in such a way that is not obvious to the public. Are you following me? So let's take an example. So they say like refund is available 20% administrative charges. You see something like that. It's just when somebody's microphone is on. You shouldn't be worrying about these things. David, it's you. Mute your microphone, David. Back to what I was saying. So you see something like refund will also be processed upon you now see something like a case where conflict arises in refund clauses. Clause 2 supersedes, something like that, supersedes clause 1. I mean, this is rough, but I mean, it's a bit more tidy. You know what that means? Let me even pause and ask, how many of you genuinely think from this, if you actually read through, you just say something like, okay, if I want a refund, they'll just give me 80% of my money. They'll remove 20% for administrative charges. How many of you, that's all you can see from this thing? Genuinely speaking, that's all you probably would have seen. Talk to me. You'll probably just have seen that. Because I've emphasized this now, you guys will not confess. But normally, you probably would have just seen that first one. However, what these guys are telling you is our refund, first of all, 20%. Right? You can say something like this within 90 days. So process your refund in 90 days. Then they'll now say, let's transfer in 90 days. Okay. And they now say the other one will also be processed upon sale of the land. Follow me. Do you know what this means? You are just saying, okay, if I don't want my money, they will remove 20% and give me back in 90 days, right? Is that until we can successfully sell your land to another person who's interested. we will not refund you. And when we find that person, we'll take 20% for you stressing us. Are you following me, guys? Now, my question is, follow me. If you are the owner of a real estate company, follow me. If you are the owner of a real estate company and you have 100 plots to sell, now you sold 40 out of the 100. Somebody now says, I don't want to sell, to buy again. Give me my money back. Are you with me? Give me my money back. Come on, guys. Can you hear me? What was that? So the guy comes and says, give me my money back. You have not finished selling the 100 plots in your estate. And this guy comes and says he wants his money back. I have already told him, you cannot get your money back until I sell your plot. The question I have for you, you as a real estate person, will you see a sell this person's plot when you have 60 plots unsold? Or you will see a customer give you money. Meanwhile, you personally have 60 plots unsold. What will you do? Come on. What will you do personally? What will you do? Will you sell to the guy, or you wait until your own 60 plots have sold out before you now start hearing that guy's refund? Does that make sense? Are you following me? Can you see what I'm saying? Can you see how one simple clause has protected them? So that is a very subtle way of saying, till we finish selling the estate, then we sell your plot for you. Are you with me? How many of us understand what I just said? If you understand, type understand. Type understand. Great. Does that make sense? So you want to ensure you check your contract of sales or you check your offer letter. Now, when you have bought your property, let's say from a real estate company, let's take, because that's where most of us interface with. There are 3 core documents that you must have. Now, what if the person finds a willing buyer? So usually that will come under a different. Why is this thing happening now? Really stressing me today. I'm coming. So, if let's say I'm the owner of the land and I want to sell, are you with me? There's a high chance, and I find a willing buyer. So I go to the company. So usually they won't consider it as you selling. They will call it transfer of ownership. Does that make sense? So I'm transferring my portfolio to this guy. And usually the company, so it's either if they don't have a policy on it, usually you may just see most likely a commission. So they'll say for administrative charges, something like that. That's what you usually see, 5 or 10%. Are you with me? Or if they have a policy around it, just ensure you read it. Does that make sense? But that's usually transfer of ownership. Does that make sense? So how's that about that? So that's the first document you want to check. Now, the second document you want to check is your receipt. Now, some of you think a receipt is just, listen, a receipt must carry, amongst many things, you must see three things. Number one is the name of the company. Very important. As minute as this is. Now, I own Zee Realty, right? Are you aware that in business world, there's a difference between a limited liability company and Zee Realty? Are you aware that these two are different in the law courts? Come on now, you following me? How many of you did business studies and you saw something like limited liability company, that the company can own properties in its name? However, when you register as a business name, both the owner and the company, the law sees them as the same. So let me explain what I mean. When you want to register a business, you can register as a business name. So when you register as a business name, so I just go and I just say Zee Realty. There's no limited or there's no PLC. Via the way the law looks at us, two of us, Bolo Kwande and Zee Realty, we are the same. So if Zee Realty is owing any money, actually, they can come to me and liquidate my possessions to solve the problem of Zee Realty, sole proprietorship. However, if I say Zee Realty Limited, some of you have never even understood what I'm teaching you. That word limited is short for limited liability, right, company. And what it means is that this company is a separate entity. So if, let's say, something happens and Z gets bankrupt or something, listen to me carefully. The law cannot come and take my properties. Are you following me? Cannot come and take my properties to restore this debt. Are you getting what I'm saying? So you are thinking at it as Bolu and Z. Oh, he's the CEO. No, they are different entities in the eyes of the law. So if Bolu sells property to you, it's not the same as Z selling a property to you. Are you following what I'm saying? So if a company sold the property to you, it's not the CEO's name that should be on the receipt. Because the CEO, via legal law, is not the owner of the thing, of the property that Z owns. They are different people. Am I revealing some things to you? Is it making sense? Making sense, type sense. Are you following me? So the name of the company must be there. So that's number one. Number two, the amount must be clearly best practice, although it's not very practice. Why is this important? Cases 10 10 10 million naira, right? That if I move, I put a dot here, 10 to 100,000. So to pay the million to a fraudulent company, The company says no, it's 100,000. However, when it's stated in word, sometimes it's not even the company. So fraudulent people, maybe you kept your document somewhere, and before you know it, some things have been falsified. You want to try and ensure that your receipt carries the amount in words and in figures. Now, the third thing you want to ensure is that your receipt carries the date. Very important. Now, like I said, we'll talk about trespasser. Those two things. So I've talked about two documents you must see: your contract of sales, your offer letter, your receipt. Number three is, the third thing you must see is your deed of assignment. We're going to deal on, there's a special session on documentation alone. Listen, a receipt, listen carefully to this. A deed is a document that moves title from one person to another. And what is title? Title basically means ownership. You can move title, ownership, or interest from one person to another. Your transaction is not exactly legally recognized if there is no deed. Don't say I have receipt. Now I'm saying this because usually you see some things like documentation fee in your, if you're buying from real estate companies, and until you pay these fees, they will not give you your documents. What exactly are these fees used for? Usually it's used to prepare your deed of assignment. So what is your deed of assignment? Like I said, moves title. Next week we're going to continue part 2, and we're going to look at these documents and see the exact things that should be there. Never ever should you try to prepare this document by yourself. This. A deed must be prepared by a lawyer every time. A deed must be prepared by a lawyer. So usually when you are paying documentation fees to a real estate company, what they do is they contract a lawyer that prepares a deed. Are you with me? So usually you may not have to worry about getting a lawyer, but if you are growing in your real estate, maybe you're having more portfolios, you definitely want to have both a lawyer and a good surveyor. Does that make sense? So now this deed can vary. It can be a deed of gift. That's basically if I gift somebody a land, right? So the actual thing doesn't matter, right? It can be a deed of conveyance, right? It's just mortgage, whatever. The main thing is there must be a party's title has moved affected. I'm talking about there are many ways you can get a property. When I die, there may not be a deed, but that processes and procedures that will now be with me, that will now make that property to move based on the instruction of the will. It's making sense, guys? Let's talk about the last one quickly. The survey plan. I remember, and he said, "When we're much young, a land now. I want to buy it." So you have seen somewhere. They'll tell you your land is from this pole, from that handkerchief to this stone. How many of you have heard that kind of thing before? How many of you have heard that kind of thing before? You have heard, okay, from this stone to that Nepa pole, to that river. Good. That's a, well, they can do that for physical purposes, but really, that's not how you should know where your land is. So, how many of you remember this thing in secondary school or primary school? No, secondary school. They taught in primary school, you should give God glory. Secondary school, they called it longitude and latitude. How many of you remember? They taught you longitude and latitude. Long and lat. So the earth has this and has this. Now, because of that, you can get every single place to the exact coordinates. How many of you know what I'm talking about? Literally, where I am, that's how they launch missiles. The exact point can be represented. So you see coordinates like something, something, this. How many of you have seen this on Google Maps before? Something like that. Exact coordinates. So what happens is, listen, your survey plan would usually be the document that has the exact coordinates of your land. Are you with me? So you will not be saying, my land is from this pole to that red handkerchief, and where that stream crosses. No. Your survey plan will get the exact place. Now, you see, why is this important? Some of you will not go have survey plans. Let's say this land you bought is 1,000 square meter. Now, for some extra due diligence, what happens is, let's say let's say you don't have a survey plan. Sometimes you get to the site when it's time to build and find out the land that they say is young. Because I mean, you see a fence here, and then you got what I'm saying. You see, let's say this is your neighbor now. Now this is your neighbor's fence, and everywhere I painted is your neighbor's house. Now, some people encroach. So let's say you left your land for 10 years, you want to start building now. By the time you get to your property and you want to start building, all you see is your plot. Do you understand what I'm saying? Empty. Let's say there are houses here. Now, let's imagine you don't have a survey plan. Just say, this is my plot. Now, this is meant to be 1,000 square meter. But then this neighbor, when he was building his house, because he built before you, 200 square meters, and your land is now 800 square meters, let me tell you, you won't know. And there'll be no way to prove. But if you have a survey plan registered, this place is for me, Oga, you will either demolish your fence or you pay for that part of the land. And sometimes, some days, even beyond, because this is another document you pay for your documentation fee. The real estate company will come with their surveyors, but sometimes, you actually go with your own personal surveyor if you have the money for due diligence. You go to that land by yourself and then you measure it. Sometimes what the company is calling 800 square meter is actually 750. Do you understand what I'm saying? And trust me, in some places, that 50 square meter is a lot of gold. Are you following me, guys? So I think that's a good place. That's a good place to pause for today. Right? Remember, tribe meetings are designed to be short. So your survey plan. There are two types of survey plan. Are you following me? Number one is provisional survey. Provisional. Number two is registered survey. Now, provisional survey is very simple. Anyway, we're going to probably have copies of the documents. I can carry a survey now or a surveyor, go to any random site. Because anybody can pick the coordinates. I say, survey this land for me. He'll survey it, put it on paper, get the size, and all of that. But registered survey, when I do that, I go and lodge it with the government. So if you go to the government database, and we call it charting, and you chart that land, it will actually show that it belongs to me. So some of you will be buying for some real estate companies. You see provisional survey is far more expensive. Currently around 350K. This one is around 50K. This one is cheaper. Then go for this one. Survey. Register provisional. What's the difference? Now, why this is important is because if there's a land dispute, this can be one of the things that can be your advantage. That it's your own. Does that make sense? If you understand what I just said, type survey. Type survey. Great. So did you guys receive value today? How many of you learned stuff you don't know? That's an entire plan of Zee Trybe. How many of you learned stuff about documentation? You can ask questions now. And you don't know. Talk to me. Amazing. You learn stuff that you don't know. Great. So I'm just going to pull this to a halt now. As usual, let me go to my notes. Can you take a screenshot, share on Instagram, tag us at ZOTHQ. The more tags we get, the higher chance that the masterclass will be free. We have about 33 people here. If you have 50% tag us, that's 15 tags. I think you guys should be able to do that for us, right? So do that for me, please. Tag on Instagram 0 to HQ. We also have been receiving several messages, people saying, okay, since the owner and the company are the same, before the law indicates, if the receipt states that the company CEO sold it to you, does it mean the same thing? No. If I sell, someone can see the screen, sorry. If I sell my personal land to you, Bolo Okwande's land, that's fine. Are you with me? So therefore, the receipt must show Bolo Okwande selling to this. Are you with me? But if that land was bought in Zee Realty's name, then only Zee Realty. Do you understand what I'm saying? The way the land is registered in the name of Zee Realty, then it is Zee Realty that should sell it. Does that make sense? There should be an indication somewhere. Very important. Because in the law, it's not my own land. I cannot sell what Zee Realty owns. But as a director, are you with me? I can act in quotes through on behalf of Zee Realty to make that decision. Does that make sense? I think it's a good place to wrap up. Great. So please take screenshots, tag us, tell your friends. We're bringing some amazing. Let me tell you, like I said, we have an amazing lineup for you people in the Zee Trybe. We are going to bring the youngest real estate CEOs to teach you some things, right? At that point, the Zee Trybe may just be for a price, access. And it's probably not going to be less than 510. Are you with me? So share the link around now. Tell them to join Wine is free. The time is coming. But it may not be free. Does that make sense, guys? So do that and all that. Some people have been asking, say, okay, I want to get land, I want to do this, I want to get that. So we have a new product. We're going to launch it to the public very soon. But currently it's just for the Zee Trybians. So some people say, sir, I saw this land somewhere. Can you help us do due diligence to verify it? Right? We have that product for you now. So we can help you check a property. It's going to go at a cost. Or you have a property you want to buy, or your parents want to buy, So what we do is we use our lawyers and we'll use our surveyors to check the property, and then we'll give you a detailed report on that property, and you can make your decision from there. I think that's something that some of you need, right? That's what some of you either need or will need in future. So making that available for you, right? So thank you so much for joining today. Last chance, please take a screenshot, share it, tag us on Instagram at ZeeHQ. One last thing, guys. Can you imagine? Tribe members, you disappointed me. We posted an engagement post on ZeeHQ. None of you engage with it. You are not loyal to the tribe. Eh? So I want you guys to go. I'm trying to pull out the post here and engage with it. Come on, tribe members. So I'll just copy it. It's just a basic it's a basic this thing Instagram question post. So engage with it. Tell us your score. Let's engage there. Does that make sense? Does that make sense, guys? So does that make sense, guys? Mike, please mute your microphone. Mike O'Connell, please mute your microphone. Thank you. So I think that's that about that. Someone said they want to see my screen. So I'll give you the last chance so you can screenshot again. Right, we're about to end. So any questions you have, you can shoot it in our DMs. I think by next week we'll start having conversations showing you guys exactly where you can get properties to start selling and making commissions, right? And all of that. So once again, take a screenshot at Realty HQ. Tag us on Instagram. Thank you so much and have an amazing day. See you guys later.